Hey everyone, this is Knocker Fan 90,
and this is Halo 3 Amateur.
and today we're going to be doing kind of a co-op, unscripted response slash rant on the latest review that's been done by IGN, and it's a review on the game NIS just came out with called Mugen Souls.
See how unscripted it is?
Yeah, and pretty much the idiot that pretty much wrote this article this time, his name's Vince Ingenito. Now, I don't really know much about Vince Ingenito, but I will give him kind of a benefit of the doubt. He did kind of recommend 3 other JRPGs, namely Disgaea 4, Persona 4, and Atelier Totally. But when it comes to this article, it's not... I mean, the article in itself, of course, is very bland. He doesn't really talk much in depth about the gameplay or anything, and just complains about some snags here and there with the game, and says, "Oh, it's awful. It's so horrid," and so forth. But
anyway,
on the same thing,
let's just go ahead and read his verdict.
Yeah, along with and this is what we're going to be talking about here. Of course, you know, it comes down to the same kind of crap you expect from IGN, really biased reviews. But when it comes to this guy's particular article, when you get down to the verdict part, this is where it really gets insulting. And that's what we're going to be reading and we're going to be talking about here today. Okay, it says here on the verdict: if you've been reading this review and thinking this guy just doesn't get Japan, I implore you to reconsider, not for the sake of my reputation, but for the sake of your wallet. This isn't about anime bias, nor is it about culture shock. We could all argue until we were blue in the face about how things that are taboo here and are accepted there, or how different their sense of humor is from ours. That isn't the point. I got every joke in Mugen Souls, I just didn't find any of them terribly funny. Whether your tastes align more with the East or the West, poor game design is still poor game design. If you're dying to throw your cash up on the altar to show your support for the localization of niche RPGs, go right ahead. Just remember, I told you so.
Now, in the review, he basically called himself a graphic whore. I mean, he didn't really call himself that, but if you read the review, that's what he's saying, basically.
Yeah, he said that the graphics were very bland and so forth, and really, it's the same kind of graphics that you would expect out of, you know, Hyperdimension Neptunia, though, you know, probably more or less trippy and so forth. But along the same note, you know, the game in itself, I mean, it's good. It's like a cross between Disgaea and Hyperdimension Neptunia, and I really don't see a problem with it. And you know, this guy just does not. He doesn't understand that graphics does not make good gameplay. I mean,
sure, they make the game look nice.
They make the game look nice. I mean, it's not realistic or anything. I mean, come on, it's anime characters and so forth. But it's just, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you know, graphics, again, good graphics does not make good gameplay, much as with good gameplay doesn't make, you know, good graphics at times. But, you know, people don't tend to overlook that. They overlook the gameplay and cite how bad the graphics are. Oh, the graphics are garbage. Arr. You know, it's just ridiculous.
Let's take a bad game, for example. Sonic 06. Let's just reference that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But the gameplay is horrible. That means it may look like a good game, but a polished turd is still a turd.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole thing of the matter is that, you know, when it comes down to it, I mean, of course his review is very terrible. He talks about, you know, how the game is very similar to Persona, and I will have to admit it is similar to Persona, rather, but you know, it doesn't completely rip it off. It just drew some inspiration from it. And the thing of the matter is that, you know, he just thinks that, you know, oh, it's a complete rip-off and all this other stuff, and oh, it's so frustrating trying to negotiate with your enemies and all this other stuff. And really, yeah, he just tends to get, you know, a little bit upworked over small quirks with the gameplay, or even certain, you know, unique aspects of the gameplay. And, you know, it's sad that, you know, people like him tend to, you know, bash good games like this. But beside that, what we were also wanting to talk about was pretty much the whole thing with this verdict thing that he says at the end. He's insulted pretty much what, you know, a typical otaku. He's pretty much insulted, you know, what, you know, is saying that, oh, otakus would say right off the bat, oh, this guy doesn't get Japan or anything like that. And really, it's kind of insulting. And here's the issue I have with this. What this guy has pretty much done is he's pretty much, I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it was accidental. I don't know if it's coincidental or anything like that. But what this guy has done pretty much is he's pretty much insulted otakus in general. And on top of that, he's insulted a cousin of mine, he's insulted friends of mine, and he's ultimately, you know, he's even insulted me.
Gamers in general.
Yeah,
let's just say that.
We'll just
cut it down.
Yeah, we'll just cut it down to that. You know, just, you know, certain people in the gaming community. But we as the gaming community as a whole, yes, we do tend to, you know, think that, you know, we have our different tastes as far as games are concerned. I mean, some people prefer games that are done by Western developers, and in contrast, you know, certain gamers, you know, like, you know, games that are done by, you know, Eastern developers. But, you know, what, and the thing of the matter is that it just, it tends to get to a point where, you know, both people who have, like, those different tastes, they tend to, like, fight against one another. And it you know, like, oh, games made in Japan are better than the games made by Western developers, or vice versa, or something like that. And really, is there anything to fight about when it comes to this?
Not really. The best kind of game you can find any time, anywhere, would be a game that has a rich story,
Mm-hmm.
decent graphics, and all-around good gameplay. Take Final Fantasy 6/3 for example. Those graphics are good, gameplay is amazing, and story is outstanding. Now, if you do that, great. If you find a game that... Another example is, if you find a game that has good graphics and not such a good story, but good gameplay, that such as the Mario series. I mean, the graphics, they're good. They're
Mm-hmm.
decent. And the gameplay is wonderful. There's almost nothing that comes close except for Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
And just all the Mario games. Sure, the story is crap for the most part because it's the same thing. Peach gets captured, Mario goes saves her, blah blah blah.
Of course, you do have certain twists, such as with, like, Yoshi Safari, but, you know,
Yeah,
that story was crap in general.
I'm talking about kind of more mainstream.
Yeah, the more mainstream ones, the ones that are, you know, more common amongst gamers.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are two examples of great games,
Yeah.
and just any game in general, really. I mean,
Yeah, and I mean, there's some games that actually have, you know, a decent storyline and also have really good gameplay. I mean, even, you know, when it comes down to, I know I'm talking about a first-person shooter here, but Halo. Halo's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually got a pretty good story, good graphics, and wonderful gameplay.
Yeah. And, you know, personally, I just don't see why, you know, people who have a Western taste tend to attack those who have more of, like, the taste for, like, Japanese games, Japanese developed games. It gets to the point of, you know, insanity when you have those two groups just duking it out. And when it comes to this guy, he's pretty much one of these flag raisers here. He pretty much likes to raise the flag here that in pretty much, you know, just say, you know, hey everybody, let's go ahead and attack, you know, otakus here, you know, because that they're always saying, oh, this guy doesn't get Japan and all this other stuff. You know, no. I mean, the thing of the matter is, you know, otakus, they're usually happy with what they like, and they usually don't tend to attack one another unless they're of course weeaboos.
Right. And let's see. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. You go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, you know, the weeaboos out there, some people that go like, oh, they even go to the scub of the point, like saying, "Oh, Dragon Ball Z is not a real anime" or something like that. I mean,
okay, Dragon Ball Z is an anime.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
Now, a cartoon that acts like an anime would be something like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Mm-hmm. It's almost an anime, but it's not.
Yeah, and but. Back onto topic. I know we kind of got a little bit off topic when it came to this guy here, but really we just want to talk. We wanted to talk not only about this guy, but we also wanted to talk about these stupid conflicts amongst the gaming community and so forth, and you know, and people, you know, preferring you know different games from different regions or even different companies for that matter, and it tends to get ridiculous. Even to the point of different series, it gets to be ridiculous. I mean, I'm a guy that likes a little bit of everything. What about you?
Yeah, I like just a little bit of everything as well.
Yeah. But, you know, aside from that, and pretty much what this guy has done is he's pretty much insulted, you know, a good amount of people. Like I said, including myself, probably, you know, including you, including several of our other friends, and even my cousin. My cousin is a huge otaku. She loves anime. I mean, she loves everything about it. She even goes to some of the anime conventions out there. But that's beside the point. Pretty much this guy just likes to, you know, go ahead and, you know, insult people. And really, this guy's just about as bat-snap insane as, you know, Colin Moriarty. He's just about as bad, if not worse than Colin Moriarty, Pierce Schneider, and, to another extent, Jeremy Parrish. I mean, he's one of these reviewers out there that just, you know, tends to go biased and just completely just ultimately tries to debunk everything about like certain fan base, certain groups, anything like that. And it tends to get to the point of, you know, you pretty much just you pretty much just want to feel like, you know, you want to punch the guy in the face. Not that I would do that or anything. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not a person to make threats or even death threats for that matter.
Right. Me either. Now back to the whole Halo thing. Both Halo and Gears of War, both pretty good games and everything. But since it's more modern, people look at multiplayer.
Yeah.
Also, multiplayer is also an important gaming thing. If it has a good multiplayer, most likely people are going to buy it just for multiplayer. Or, you know, if they do, that's fine. I mean, sure, it's fun to go around shooting like people online and everything, and beating them down and everything. It's awesome, but it's not what the game's about. I mean, you can play multiplayer all you want. I won't argue with you there. You can go ahead, but I would play through the main story first.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no progression, you know, if you just play online. Basically, just playing online is just basically, you know,
It's just to get your rank up. That's
yeah,
about
it's
it.
just pretty much just duking it out with other strangers across the world.
Right. It's fun and all, but
Yeah, it's fun. I
play
mean,
the main story first. That's just something I recommend doing.
yeah, I mean, personally, I used to fight against several other people when I had when I was playing Dead or Alive Dimensions on the 3DS, which is a great game, by the way. But you know, aside from that, you know, I kind of got tired after a while, and I just wanted to go back into just playing the, you know, single player mode. But yeah, you know, it's good and everything. But anyway, back to this reviewer here, and I'm going to be talking about these major review sites now. You know, much like how we have like certain tastes for gaming and so forth, you know, everybody has different tastes and so forth. But when it comes to like the three major review sites that I've seen, namely IGN, GameSpot, and GameTrailers, they're all like, you know, the three biggest fanboys on the planet is what it kind of looks like. You kind of get the impression of it now if anybody's noticed. For example, you know, you have IGN, which consists of a bunch of, they usually give more games that are for Nintendo consoles a higher score, with certain exceptions here and there. With GameSpot, you pretty much got them giving 360 games higher scores, and with GameTrailers, it pretty much comes down to the PlayStation games. So yeah, pretty much you got IGN consists of Nintendo fanboys, GameSpot consists of 360 fanboys, and then you've got the GameTrailers, which consists of a bunch of Sony fanboys.
Now, there's nothing wrong with all that.
Yeah,
It's just they're kind of a little biased.
they're very biased.
Because if they're all fanboys of one system, then they're going to be completely biased.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when IGN gave like Mario Galaxy 2 like a perfect 10 out of 10. It's a great game, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve a perfect. I would give it, I don't know, maybe an 8.5 at the most.
Yeah, I'd probably give it about an 8 as well myself. I mean, you know. But aside from that, you know, it's just, you know, I'm down to the point now where I've completely distrust like every one of these reviewing sites. And as far as what this guy has written here on his verdict, where he was talking about, you know, what a typical otaku would say, or how he would think it was, how he gets the impression of it, I, as well as probably several other people that have seen this, that, you know, like games, you know, that are from Japan or anything that's made in Japan or anything like that, are pretty friggin' disgusted with this. I really am. I don't know about you, man, but
I am, dude.
yeah. And pretty much to the guy that wrote this article, Vince Ingenito, go stew in your own muck 6 ways from Sunday with the devil itself.
Mr. Ingenito, you are not neato at all.
No. And, you know, dude, I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to say this in quite a special tone of voice. Do your research on the game and actually play it. Play through the game before you friggin' review it. Sorry about that. I had to get that out of my system. I mean, I'm sorry, but I am very disgusted with this, and really, to IGN, you never cease to amaze me when it comes to what kind of nut jobs you hire to write articles for you. But then again, you know, probably the guy that hires the writers, probably Pierce Schneider himself, is a nut job himself. So there you go. And I've also got some things to say about OneUp.com's Jeremy Parrish, but I'll save that for another video.
Alright. Sounds good.
Yeah, but, you know, my final words on this, you know, regardless of what kind of games that you like, or or if you're a fan of anything in general, don't diss or oust a person because they have different tastes or anything like that. I mean, respect one another. I mean, we as the gaming community actually need to band together as a whole, especially right now, especially with the whole online pass stuff that's been going on and so forth. I mean, we need to come together. We need to band together and pretty much tell off these greedy companies out there that want to just slap online passes in her face. But that's another story for another time in itself. But I'm just saying, we need to just stop fighting over certain tastes of games or consoles that we have. You have anything else to say, hello?
Not really. I think you said it all.
Yeah. Well, and I hope and pray that y'all enjoyed this video. This has been this has not been one of my typical videos, but this had to be said, and it had to be said, in a rather firm tone of voice. I mean, it even comes down to kind of a discussion in a bit, but and it is a controversial subject, but it shouldn't be too controversial to the point of not being able to talk about it. I mean, if anybody wants to make a video response on this, I greatly welcome it. We greatly welcome it, and so forth. But this is pretty much this is not one of my typical videos, but I hope and pray I do get some video responses on this. Voice your own opinion about it, and I would love to hear it. Halo 3 Amateur would love to hear it, and so forth. But I hope and pray that everybody enjoyed this video, and to Vince Ingenito, go stew in your own muck. This has been Knockaroo Fan 90, and I'll see you next time. Sayonara, and God bless.
And for the person, well, what's his name? Ingenito?
Yeah.
Ingenito, go stew in your own muck, you stupid schmuck.
Yep. That is...
With a muck.
Yep, that is, that's the way it goes. That's what she wrote, folks.
Yep.
Well,
This has been Halo 3 Amateur.
Alright.
And I'll see you guys next time.
And with that, guys, we're out.